What is going on, guys? Welcome back to the channel. So in this video, I do want to talk about the overall progression to max level in Test Drive Unlimited. I'm actually planning on doing a few different videos of this, like also an after level 60 progression video. And I'm also thinking about going into other racing games and doing a progression video on those, like the Crew 2, the Crew Motorfest, so do stay tuned for that. But the reason why I did want to talk about this though is what is my overall thoughts on the progression to max level in Solar Crown. Like, how is it? Is it going to be a good experience? Are you going to enjoy actually leveling up in this game? Is there going to be stuff to do? I figured why not break this down a bit and go over a couple of things. So first things first, if you are wondering, well, how does the leveling actually work? Well, there's going to be a total of 60 of them, at least currently right now, although this thing only goes up to 55, and it won't let you go to the 60th level. But after that, though, guys, you'll notice that every single thing is going to give you unlocks, upgrades, different cars and stuff like that, being able to go to the clan. But going all the way back down, guys, I did want to basically break this down and go over each level here to see how the overall progression actually is. So the first thing here, the end of it, is obviously the beginning of the game, which I do know that was going to be with a very odd looking flying vehicle I have never seen before. But moving over, we also have level 5 here, which is then going to get the workshop and the dealerships open, the beauty salon, the clothing store. You'll also get the legendary turbo, which is the responsive one, then also a bunch of new races unlocked alongside of it. Moving over to level 10, you'll then get the new game mode called the Domination, which is actually pretty interesting. You're also then going to get a ton of parts unlocked and of course some races alongside of that. So at least you are going to be getting the sense of getting something unlocked. Level 12 though, you guys will then notice that yes, you can finally join a clan. You can go to these street or these sharps and actually level those up and get a bunch of other rewards on top of getting these rewards, which I will also look at that here in a second. But the next one, guys, level 15, you're then going to get 5 new cars, which is going to be the off-road category basically, and a bunch of parts there as well, like the off-road tires, the short gearbox, and then a bunch of races on top of it. So it is going to be a decent way to actually level you up. Like, you are going to get stuff when you level up and stuff, and at least you are going to feel the need to actually want to be like, okay, let me hit level 20 or 25, let me get some more upgrades. Like, it's giving you a reason to do it. This one right here at level 20 though, you can then unlock the ranked races, which when making this video, that wasn't really working all that great. But we're also going to have some new cars like German, British, and stuff like that, which is pretty dope. And then of course on top of that, guys, a bunch of races unlocked again. Besides that, we're also then going to have the level 25 thing, which you get a workshop upgrade, better parts for your vehicles and stuff like that, and of course, a lot more races on top of it. You're also then going to get the junior suite as well, which is pretty dope. Basically unlocking that, having a nicer hotel room, so that's always going to be a cool addition. After that, guys, we're then going to have these supercars unlocked at level 30. You basically get a bunch of these cars unlocked, you can buy them, and I would say by the time you hit level 30, you should have enough money for one of them, or even two of them, and at least be able to level it up a bit. That way you can do some of the events. And besides that, we're also going to have a ton of new races on top of those, which I would say is going to add on to the fun part of it. The next one, guys, at level 35, though, you'll then get the suspension upgrades and also more unlocks for your vehicle, which means you can make them even faster. On top of that, once again, even more events being unlocked. I have to be honest, one thing I really liked about it is the fact that you actually got a lot of races unlocked every time you leveled up. And for me, though, oddly enough, I did actually like that. Like, every time you actually went through the levels, you'd get more events. Like, the game wasn't giving you every single race in the game basically when you started it. And I have to admit right now, I do like the way they actually did this. Every time you guys actually leveled up, basically every 5 levels or so, you are then going to get more races every time you actually leveled up. Like, that's dope. The reason why I really do like that is a lot of games would just basically throw you in there, and there's so many races to do, and you actually can do all of them, but there's not going to be a sense of progression to new events. Like, I think that's a pretty dope design. And I would say people are like, no, like, that's actually kind of dope. It would make sense to get more races the farther you get into it, instead of having every race the second you actually get on the game. But level 40 guys are then going to get Ferrari and Lamborghini in there, which I think everybody loves. Also, 18 more races on top of it. The next one, though, you're also going to get the Executive Suite. You're then going to get new tires, all the legendary parts, so you can max the cars out completely now. And of course, on top of that, 21 more races. The next one, guys, at level 50, though, you're then going to get the hypercars unlocked, which these are probably going to be fairly expensive, but luckily there's a few of them that you can actually get to help you probably get into the events that aren't going to be 10 to 15 million dollars or so, and something insane like that. The final one, though, guys, we're then going to have the last 6 long races here, which I have to admit, these are insanely fun to do. I love long races. I would actually love other games that have events like this. I really do enjoy them. But that's basically going to do it for the main leveling part of it. If you guys are wondering, I would say we're not going to be spoiling anything. But at level 60, though, you're also going to get the Apollo IE at that rank, which is going to be free. So if you did technically want to, you could actually not buy any hypercars and grind from 55 to 60, which is actually what I did. Then you'll get the Apollo, drive that a bit, do some of the races, make even more money, then decide what you actually want to get. But when playing this game, though, I did want to talk about this, guys, because I was seeing it everywhere. The entire progression system up to 60 isn't that great. Like, there's nothing to do. Here's the thing, man. Like, there's a bunch of races everywhere. You get more of them every time you do level up. You get new cars, new unlocks, new things to go after. On top of that, you can also level up the clan ranking. Now, don't get me wrong here. I'm not saying this game is absolutely perfect with its progression system, but I would say compared to some other racing games, it's not that terrible. I was actually seeing a lot of people saying, man, all I have to do is races, like that's all you can do. Quick question. In most of the racing games, isn't that basically all you actually do, though? Like, you just race in the same events. That's what I have to admit, guys. Like, don't get me wrong again. I have to say this. I know Test Drive isn't perfect. We all do know most of these games aren't perfect. But I would definitely say, like, going in Test Drive and being like, man, all these races are boring. It's the same thing. Technically, a lot of the racing games are insanely similar, and that's also why I kind of got a bit confused. Like, I was seeing a lot of people saying, all the races are the same, like, there's nothing to do. I keep doing the same events over and over. Like, what's the point? And that really did confuse me, though, because we can look at something like Need for Speed Unbound, the Crew Motorfest, and basically pretty much any racing game, all the old Need for Speed games and all that. They basically had races you would keep doing them over and over. You know, of course, going after those races to get a better car, then you run them again. And a lot of the races are going to be insanely similar in some of those games. So you're probably like, wait, if this game has that, doesn't that kind of make every racing game like insanely similar with the design? I don't know, just something I was thinking about. The other thing I did want to talk about in this, guys, is going to be another part of it that I am going to break down in the after level 60 video for some of these tasks here. Now, the reason why I did want to talk about this, though, is there is so many of these you can actually do. And the best part is many of them would get you like a sticker, some type of unlock, extra money, and more experience to level up even quicker. So it's actually going to give you like bonus challenges on top of doing the races. And I do feel like adding like the extra tasks into the game was actually a pretty dope feature. The reason for that is most games you'd probably just do the races, you level up and stuff like that. There wasn't anything to them. But in this game, though, there's going to be a bunch of challenges you can do. That way you're actually going to be able to make additional money on top of it. And then from there, you also have challenges like complete around 7 races in this region with like this car, or you have to do like $200,000 made in that set area. Then you get an extra bonus of like $100,000 from the challenge. Like, I do like those type of challenges. And I feel like in most racing game, having a task like this would actually make a ton of sense, and I would love to see more of it. Don't you guys actually agree, though? Like, having more of these type of things in racing games really should be a must to keep players focused on it. I feel like the overall progression, besides just doing the events, at least you're going to have something on top of it that you can do. That way you can enjoy it and stuff like that, and most likely have a good time, instead of only farming races like, oh look, I have 5 new challenges I can do on top of it. Need for Speed Unbound was great at this. I do understand, guys, that game is not perfect by any means because of some of the things that happened with it, but right now I have to say the game is doing pretty dang well for the most part. And I really like the way they actually did the entire challenges system on there, because it did give you something to do. I am definitely going to make another video, guys, going over these other racing games and the overall progression systems in those. I think that's a pretty dope series to go over. But I would like to know your thoughts on Test Drive Unlimited Solar Crown in the comments below. What do you guys think about the overall progression in this game to level 60? I'm once again going to be doing a video very soon on the after level 60 progression system. What do you guys think about it so far? Do you like it? Did you have a good time doing the tasks and stuff? Did you like exploring? I would say right now the best part about this game is you can level up in a lot of different ways. For one, you can drive around the entire map, find different roads, find the little like radiant prizes around the map and do some of like the races if you want. You can also do some of the tasks and stuff, get money and XP from that. Like, there is going to be a lot of different ways to play the game, level up, get money, which I think is a pretty good design, at least from what I have seen so far. Is it going to be perfect? Well, I have to admit, every game is going to have flaws in some type of way. But do let me know once again, guys, what do you think about the overall progression system to the max level of 60?